The rollout of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine for persons aged 15 years. Of course, when we started the vaccination, it was just for 18 and above, but the Food and Drugs Authority has granted approval for it to be rolled out or administered to people under that age. Well, the very controversial story that has dominated the airwaves since the budget was presented on Wednesday, the directive issued by the Ministry of Roads and Highways for the cessation of toll collection was to suspend the operationalization of the toll and not the law. That's according to a statement issued by the Ministry of Roads and Highways and signed by the minister. The statement says on Thursday was to stop an unfortunate incident that followed the scrapping of road and bridge tolls as announced by the finance minister in Parliament on Wednesday. Some motorists are said to refuse paying the tolls as soon as the announcement was made, leading to some confusion. The statement further says the ministry is aware of Parliament's role in the imposition of taxes and the fixing of levies and charges, and that in the fullness of time the appropriate thing will be done. Now let's stay a while on this issue because our Upper East Regional Correspondent Samuel Ayama has visited the Pwalugu toll booth where commuters and traders have expressed mixed reactions on the order from the Minister for Roads and Highways to suspend the collection of tolls at the booth. He comes through with this report.
Here is the Pwalugu toll booth in the Talansi district of the Upper East region. This particular spot has always been busy because of the toll booth here. But today, the place looks virtually empty because of the closure of the toll booth. We have a lot of women here who are in the onion, yellow melon business, and we want to find out from them how the closure of the toll booth is affecting their business.
So we are pleading on government to come and open the toll booth for us so that it will help our business to go well.
They are not buying. When they just buy, they pass. They won't stop. So as they say they are free. So when the cars came, this month, if I came, I didn't get any test on it.
You look at my onions and my yellow melon. The thing I'm selling and look at my school children. I have 3 children to look at to school. One is for JSS and one for SS and the primary. Because of you are locking the toll, I'm not selling anything. Maybe say me buy SS. I am doing via into pacho. Share my award. Now you say you can catch to Shankulano. Ya palm with Choi. Dear one, no. Mpacho, just say a gilom. Omanta DNA debate your alumno. 1 gilon so I want to make a school.
At the toll booth, the news team observed that some road users are still not aware that there is a closure on all toll booths across the country.
I wanted to pay, and then I didn't see them, so I didn't even know what is happening. So, well, it's interesting.
It's affecting the business in this area because mostly the cars park and then the traders around here are able to sell some of their products. But since the toll booth is open, cars don't stop, everybody just passes, and that is the other side of it that is affecting this area. Myself personally, I didn't know of the closure. As I was passing, I realized that there's nobody around and I was wondering why the toll booth has been closed.
So if it is for 2022, how can you start implementing part of a budget proposal presented to Parliament in November? I mean, for me, I think it's only logical that we wait for Parliament to come out with something on it.
Looking at the number of cars that ply this particular stretch of road on a daily basis, it is obvious that the women here are making a lot of money. And again, the toll booth workers here are also making a lot of money because this particular stretch of road connects Ghana to its neighboring countries, Burkina Faso through Paga, Namon, and to Togo through Pomakom. For GBC News, Samuel Ayama reporting, Palugu.
Now let's say a while on this story because some toll booth workers, mostly persons with disability, are not happy with the directive from the Roads and Highways Minister to stop the tolls collection. The workers want government to reverse the directive immediately because it will adversely affect them. Our Tema regional correspondent Michael Diwanu has been to Tema Toll Plaza where the workers have gathered since morning hoping to hear some official communication asking them to go back to their duty posts.
It is day 2 since the finance minister presented the 2022 budget to Parliament. One major issue that came up has to do with the removal of toll on all public roads and the controversy continues. Immediately after the budget presentation, the Minister for Roads and Highways directed that tolls be suspended with immediate effect. The Speaker of Parliament says that directive should be reversed, otherwise it would be a contempt of Parliament. We are here at the Tema Plaza of the toll booth, and honestly speaking, and as you can see, cars are moving freely. It is still toll-free for everyone, and the motorists are moving freely. We have workers of the toll booth here who are made up of persons with disability. We'll be engaging them and speaking to them on the issue to find out their take or their views on the suspension of the toll booth and how that is going to affect them. With me here is the supervisor for the Tema Plaza of the toll booth here on the Tema motorway. We want to engage him briefly to find out from him what their views are.
The news comes to us as a shock. Some of the PWDs, they can't even walk. And we are leaving those people to go house without even the salary of our salary. For 2 months now, we didn't receive any salary. And you leave them just like that to go home without anything, empty-handed. How do the government expect them to survive?
We are told that after the reading of the budget, drivers were in fisticuffs with you people. They were having confrontations with you. That is why the minister took that decision to make sure that your lives are protected.
Oh, well, for that one, it's a big lie. It's a big lie. I'll tell you, Frank, 100% that's a big lie. No collector, even worse with the drivers there. For that one, there. It's 100% lie.
The government have also indicated that he's going to make sure that he finds somewhere for you guys.
They themselves, they are saying that there's no job. Where are they going to assign us to? Before, if that should be the case, they have to confront us and tell us, oh, my people, this is the situation. So we want to reassign you another job. Before they can go ahead and close the toll.
What do you want government to do immediately?
The government, if they are saying that they are going to close it, then they have to come and take data from the workers on the ground and cite them that, oh, you, when you close or when we lay you off, you are going to this field or you are going to this field. Before they can take decision that you are going to this place.
I'm a person with disability. The government came and realized that persons with disability deserve to work, and he employed most of us at the various toll stations. Now, beggars on the street are less. This closure of toll booth is going to increase beggars on the street. So as a person with disability, we are pleading with the government to come to our aid so that he will talk to the minister. He should go back and then reverse the decision.
No notice, and I do 12 o'clock December before, and I must say Yampon Juma, na Yankofi. Maybe I'm sure Ghana for Mutia Assembly, Assembly of Mobile. And see, I'm paying in yes, Yakoto Strom. Decision on take here, almost unshabium.
Even we are a single mother, so I actually and call I was media manyama. So, couldn't education at Ekitaye. The same bank was who I bed and acquainted our brabo. You've been with saying, yes, me, mother. It's a bed,
then so mun check 3 months mo be try kan so mo titi so se se mo se enko fie ska na won mu hon de ne bedi
se si a ho fo na mo ba country no mu no omo mo ba obi okọ mobile money no oni mo alert bi anti say where you go to no dia question mobile money ma me for overload me for normal tonnage me na me tua sa overload omo so na fa overload omo say kwan no do no for overload no say kwan no dey won tua hwe na me for overload no mo me na me say bed ni sa beda me so ye ko omo ma ye tua. Kilometers.
It is just a simple message they are sending out there to the government. They are just pleading with the government to make sure that this particular decision of removing the tolls on our public road be reversed, and so that they can come back to work and fend for their families. Reporting for GBC News, Michael Dewanu reporting.
We are still staying on this issue because the Deputy Minister for Finance, Dr. John Kumar, has explained in details why government scrapped the road toll on all public roads and bridges as indicated in the 2022 budget presented last Wednesday. He described the action taken by the Transport Minister to stop the collection of the toll as an administrative decision. He says that the toll regime is inequitable, inefficient, and an impediment to productivity. Meanwhile, the government has made plans for heavy trucks from neighboring countries to go through the weighing scale system in order for the country not to lose revenue from that side. The Deputy Finance Minister said this at a post-budget news briefing in Accra.
To be inequitable, we found it to be inefficient, and we found the road to be impeding productivity. These are the 3 reasons why we decided. So when we say the road toll is inequitable, what we mean is that if you come to the plush areas, the residential areas in Accra, have you seen any road tolls here? But check the kind of properties we have here and the kind of people who can afford these places. They don't pay road toll. But if you go to Kaswa, Temamoto Way, Ashamai, if you cross it 10 times from Kaswa to Malam, if you're a trotro driver and you're using that road, 20 times in, 20 times out, multiply that in a day. That's how much the poor person pays. So we thought that it was inequitable, and so we should scrap it and put it on something that can cover everybody. Ghana was getting 78 million Ghana cedis from the road tolls that we collect in our country. And so people have asked, what will happen to those who were working there? They will all keep their jobs. Nobody is going home. We are only reassigning them. Foreign trucks that come from Burkina and Mali into Ghana, they are not part of these exemptions. But their trucks go through a weighing scale system. So there's still opportunity for Ghana to collect any charges we want to collect from them for the usage of our roads. The unproductivity of the whole system, where you have to be in traffic for 30 minutes to 1 hour just to pay 1 cedi. If you check the productivity cost and the fuel you burn, we found that it was unproductive and hampering the objective of government. And we believe that we can put that on the new levy which we have proposed called the...
Now let's turn our attention to COVID-19 because the administration of Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine to adolescents 15 years have begun across the country, especially for those out of school. The Ghana Health Service, in consultation with the Ghana Education Service, has mapped out junior and senior high schools where the vaccination is scheduled to take place. This follows the Food and Drugs Authority approval to administer of the Pfizer vaccines to persons 15 years and above. The head of the expanded program for immunization, Dr. Kwame Amponsa-Chiano, joins us via Zoom for more enlightenment on this latest development. Thank you so much for your time, sir. What has been the public response to this announcement to vaccinate 15 years old since the announcement?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to your cherished viewers and listeners alike. Yes, even before this extension of the emergency use authorization by the FDA, there were lots and lots of pressure from parents and related persons for us to vaccinate children below 18 years. But of course, we needed quite some data and experience from other areas, and also the regulatory part to pass before we could do that. So it's something that has been in the pipeline for some time. You'll recall that in the broad plan of the vaccine deployment, we had always indicated that depending on the availability of data on safety, we would include children and pregnant women so that everybody gets vaccinated as the case may be. And so the announcement actually came not as a surprise to many people. And even as I speak, there are lots and lots of parents who are sending their wards to facilities in Greater Accra in particular for vaccination. So I would say that generally is something that the public has embraced.
Well, at the early stage of the vaccine, we had this group of people or category of people were having strong immune system, so there was no need for them to be vaccinated. What has changed now? Is it because of the change in the virus mutation?
No, that was really not the major issue. You recall, as I stated earlier, that in the broad plan, major issue was the fact that initially the trials did not include children, and that there were trials that was going on. Suffice to say that, of course, yes, adolescents and children, especially above 5 years, have usually strong immunity against many diseases. And therefore, some of them got infected without necessarily coming down with the disease. However, we also monitored many countries. And, for example, in Israel, the mantra was that children don't go close to grandmothers, don't go close to grandfathers. So from the onset, we knew that children were also the ones that were transmitting. And that is why scientifically it was wise not for children to go to grandmothers and grandfathers, because they were the ones transmitting the infection. You know, the adolescent is very active, and even in Ghana, we've had quite a number of school-borne outbreaks, and we had to fight as a service in order to put the virus at bay. And we are just about entering the Christmas festivities. You know what happened last year? Around October, November, December, everything seemed quiet until January, when we saw cases rising. And it's still happening in other countries, just as it did happen in 2020. When other countries were in the third wave, we seem to be doing quite well. And as I speak now, many countries in Europe are in the fourth wave. We want to guard against this. So one of the issues is that you want to prevent circulation of the virus within the adolescent, as well as also from adolescent, preventing transmission from the adolescent to the other, especially the aged. So that is a rationale for this. And this is not just, Ghana is not isolated. You know, the United States, for example, and Canada have done children under 15 even over.
So just for the purpose of education, there is also the perception that since adolescents constitute a greater chunk of the population, of course, if we look at the recent population census, the results generated by the Ghana Statistical Service, that they are being vaccinated to make them sterile. How true is this?
Oh, this cannot be true. You know, for since time immemorial and since the onset of, or the outset of vaccination, this has been the issue. I remember for the polio and other vaccines that we've been using in the routine, is the same unfortunate disinformation going around that. And if you recall, Ghana, for example, started the immunization program in 1978. And if vaccines were sterilizing people, why would people be delivering since 1978 that we started? So there's no foundation in the statement at all.
So what are the arrangements for pupils in junior and senior high schools in terms of the first and second dosage?
Yes, so there has been a high-level engagement between the Director Generals of both the Ghana Health Service and the Ghana Education Service. And I know that the Director General Ghana Health Service has been in touch with the Director General TVET. You know, these are the major service providers who have, in terms of education, who have a lot of these adolescents. And this has, triggered peripheral level meetings as well. So as I speak now, I know that the regional directors have both the health service and the education service have had some meetings. And so come next week, I believe that all these arrangements would have been in place so that the children can be vaccinated.
Doc, very finally, in terms of achieving herd immunity, how are we faring? There was a target to achieve that by the end of the year. We don't even have enough supplies to meet that demand. Is there a change in plan in sort of the targets?
Well, our plan hasn't changed yet because we have, as I speak, before you called me, we're working on some vaccines. We have 11 million doses that are going to be taking stock of in the next month. You can imagine the pressure. So already we have some almost 6 million doses that we are deploying. So if you put all together, it's about almost 17, 18 million doses. If we're able to do this within the shortest possible time, I'm sure we can cross somewhere around 16 million persons getting at least one dose. And that means that we would have been on course.
Thank you so much for your time. Dr. Amponsa Chano is the Director
thank you for
of Immunization Program at the Ghana Health Service and has been helping us to appreciate the roadmap for the deployment of the Pfizer vaccines to persons under 18 years. Now to the Upper West region, where the Regional Health Directorate says the region has recorded an outbreak of yellow fever in Wa East and Sisala West districts. So far, 6 people have died between the ages of 1 and 10. The Regional Director of Health Service, Dr. Damien, made this known at a news conference at Wa. My colleague Salah Abdul Wahab has more in this report.
At the Regional Coordinating Council, the Regional Director of Health, Dr. Damien Punguyiri, said 5 people have so far died of the yellow fever in the 2 districts of the region.
We would like to also use this medium to notify the public that the region has recorded suspected yellow fever outbreak in Wa East and Sisala West districts. So far, 6 persons have lost their lives. However, there is no person on treatment as at now. Yellow fever is an acute viral hemorrhagic disease transmitted by infected mosquitoes. The yellow in the name refers to the jaundice that affects the patient's eyes. Symptoms of yellow fever include fever, headache, jaundice, muscle pain, nausea, vomiting, and fatigue. A small group of patients who contract the virus develop severe symptoms, and approximately half of those die within 7 to 10 days.
On COVID-19 pandemic, the director said over 200,000 doses of the vaccine were received, while 124,000 have been used in all the 11 districts and municipalities of the region.
All districts in the region are currently administering the vaccine to the eligible population. So far, the region has received a total of 210,980 doses of 3 different types of vaccines and has administered 184,480 doses to 91,017 persons, representing 19% of the target population as of 17th November 2021. However, only 5.9% of the region's targeted population is fully vaccinated.
The regional director hinted that school children under 18 years will be vaccinated before they go home for vacation. For GBC News, Swala Abdul Wahab.
Now, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Mr. Samuel Abujinapo, has just ended a visit to the Bono region. He charged officials of the Forest Services Division of the Forestry Commission to do more to protect forest reserves and step up afforestation. Bono correspondent John Samata is joining us live with some officials of the Forestry Division, where he's trying to find some answers to climate change adaptation. John, if you can hear me.
Yes, so the Minister for Natural Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abujinapo, was in the Bono region just a couple of days ago, and he charged his men in the Forestry Commission, the Forestry Services Division, for that matter, to be up and doing when it comes to protection of the forest reserves and their reforestation efforts. So we are the Sunyani District Office of the Forestry Services Division to find out how ready they are to run with the directive of their sector minister. And so we have the district manager for Sunyani, Francis Brobe, and he's just going to tell us more about what we want to know. You're welcome to GBC News, and I want to start by asking you, what is the situation with the Sunyani Forestry Division now? Are you ready to deepen your forest protection efforts and reforestation efforts, as your minister is asking?
Oh yes, we are more than ready. My team, we are more than ready for the battle ahead.
Great. Yeah. So, when it comes to the forest reserves, how many do you have in the Sunyani municipality?
We have 7 forest reserves in this Sunyani Forest district.
Okay. Yeah. Great. And what is their condition like? Do you need more tree planting in there?
Oh yes. When we come here, out of the 7, we have 1 productive reserve. That is the exclusive forest reserve. But the rest are degraded, and we are doing serious tree planting in all of these reserves.
Okay.
Even within this year alone, under the YEA and then MTS, we have planted over 800,000 trees. And under the Green Ghana too, we also planted over 260,000. So in short, this year, in 2021, we have planted over 1 million seedlings in Sunyani Forest district. I
see. Talk about the Green Ghana trees. How are they doing?
Oh, they are doing very well. You know, the unique thing about that, for Sunyani, we have Green Ghana monitoring team. And just last Wednesday, the team made up of the Ghana National Fire Service, the NADMO, the media, the forestry, we went round, and it was fantastic. When we went to the front, we realized things were very good. You know, this year we are very lucky to have a very good rains, and coupled with very good measures put in place, we are able to achieve a much success in our treatment.
Okay, so now a quick one about illegal logging.
Yes.
How bad is the problem here in the Sunyani municipality?
Yes, you know, it's around, but we are doing our best. Okay. Now we have the rapid response, the military. We are having a problem in our first session of Exclusive Forest Reserve. And as we speak now, with the good measures in place, we have been able to deal with the situation, and those that we identify, we have arrested them and we are putting them before court. And the number we also found, we are putting them. Okay. We are in touch, and we are doing our best.
So are there any challenges that the ministry must look at to ensure that you are effective in your job?
Oh yes, we need the resources. Now, motorbikes and vehicles are very important. You know, and with the tree planting, when we plant trees, we need to nurture them. Okay. So we need adequate funds for the monitoring of the activities. Okay. And we also need to know there are issues with respect to the payment of the YEH. I hope one time he assured us that with the budget, we're going to have a regular payment. You know, we use them for the labor. So when the money is not forthcoming, actually it affects the labor. We also have an issue of grazing the reserves. So we are in touch, but we also call on stakeholders to help us. Because when we plant the trees in the reserve and the animals go and destroy them, and now it comes to square one. So we need the support of all to be able to prevent them.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brobe. So you heard the Sunyani Forestry Manager, Mr. Brobe, and he's telling us that they are doing their best, but they still need help to be able to do more. For GBC News in Sunyani, John Samata reporting.
Now, the fear of residents in the coastal communities in the Volta region is that history will be washed away if a lasting solution is not found to perennial tidal waves eating into their homes. The appeal of the people is for the government to take up immediate steps towards this, failing which they will soon no place to call home. The communities met with the Select Committee for Works and Housing on a visit.
Since this devastation started, I've just been lodging with my brothers who are, some of them are in the church building here. I've been lodging with them. And the only room left for me is the kitchen. For the kitchen, I harbor all my children in the kitchen.
So now I see I want new town. And new town so so a higher. Na ye dying to me that baby
Over 3,000 residents got displaced when the recent tidal waves ate into some communities along the eastern coastline in the Volta region. Parliament's Works and Housing Committee's visit was a directive from the Speaker for the team to assess and recommend a lasting solution to the perennial problem. The team first stopped in the Ketu South constituency. Here, over 1,000 people lost their homes. Most of the victims had to travel elsewhere to put up with relatives, while others are housed in this church building. Out of the 14 kilometers of the land that must be protected, only 4.3 of it has been worked on in the first phase of the Blekusu Sea Defense Project. Unfortunately, government says its financial allocation for such projects can only cover 5 kilometers. The Member of Parliament for the area, Ms. Ablanjifa Gomashi, says her people are not happy about the many promises from government on this issue. On the part of the Municipal Chief Executive, Mr. Maxwell Lugudo, he believes the best solution for now will be a complete relocation of the people to this area, but that will mean construction of accommodation and an access road over this river. The worst affected by the recent disaster were the people of Fuveme. 3 people, including a baby, are reported to have died. Over 1,000 more had their homes destroyed, with the school children being relocated here. The Member of Parliament believes the effect could have been less catastrophic if the routine dredging by the Volta River Authority had continued. He says this can be done until the sea defense wall is completed.
PRA was responsible for the dredging of the mouth of the river. If it's done, the river flows freely into the sea. And it can flow, depending on the speed, you can push it back about 10 kilometers. It breaks the tides. You understand? If it breaks the tide, the effect of coming to hit the ground is becoming minimal.
The chairman of the Select Committee, Mr. Isaac Isiama, said the disaster was worse than assumed, and this warrants an immediate and permanent solution.
I can assure you, all members that joined us from these communities, that this committee is concerned about the plight of your people, or the people of Ghana. We are all Ghanaians. We are going to do whatever it takes to ensure that it receives a national priority, a national attention.
The acting director of the Department of Hydrology at the Ministry of Works and Housing, Mr. Owusu-Ansah, said the sea defense project is capital intensive and the government is finding ways to not only invest in the project but also earn some revenue. For the people of Fuveme, he promised that the Ministry of Works and Housing would engage with the Volta River Authority to ensure that the dredging of the Volta River continues.
Now, the Basic Education Certificate examination, which started on Monday, has ended today with 571,894 candidates sitting for the exit examinations. Our colleague from the Upper East region, Samuel Ayama, has gone round town and engaged some students and joins us with some details as to how students are celebrating the end of their junior high school education. Samuel, if you can hear me, what have you gathered? What is the mood like in the Upper East region for the candidates?
Thank you very much, Sani. The exams, that's the BECE, it has ended here in the Upper East region successfully. The candidates are in town, they are jubilating, they are happy that they have been able to go through the process successfully. So with me here is the regional PRO of GES, Mr. Nathaniel Inyaba, to tell us how the whole exams ended. Mr. Inyaba, you're welcome to GBC News. Tell us, how will you describe the exams this year?
Thank you, Samuel. And for me, the exam was successful. Just like you said, the students, the candidates comported themselves. All the exams rules were followed. In our monitoring, we observed that they were calm and focused. We have not recorded any examination malpractices in any of the municipal or 15 municipal or districts in the region. So in simple, it was successful.
So how many sat for this year's exams, male, female? Do you have the statistics to share with us here?
Thank you very much. For the Upper East region, we had a total of 10,577 males and 11,544 females. So in all, we have 22,121 candidates that sat in for this November BEC 2021.
Okay, so do we have pregnant girls taking part this year and nursing mothers?
Thank you very much. We are still collating the numbers, but in our rounds we spotted some. We spotted one nursing mother who was there writing, and we also spotted some pregnant candidates.
Okay, so what message have you got for our parents now that the children are going home?
The parents need to be calm. The selection process will start very soon. In next week, Monday, we will have the sensitization program for the school selection and placement system. And it will trickle down to all the districts. So the candidates who want to travel, I will plead that they shouldn't travel yet till they do the selection process. There they cannot travel. But for those who don't want to travel, I'll urge them to use the libraries very well so that they can read and prepare themselves for the second phase, which will be the senior high school level.
Thank you very much, Mr. Inyaba, the PRO of the Ghana Education Service of the Upper East region. So we end it here. And one other interesting thing that happened in the BEC in the Upper East region is Mr. Akusiak. He's over 50 years. He participated or took part in this year's BEC. He hails from Nayoko in the Binduri district of the Upper East region. For GBC News, Samuel Ayama reporting, Boga.
It's still News Hour Live on GBC News. We go for a break. We return with business.
Fascinating crawling trees and invading the habitat of different animal species.
We have our staff who do patrols to protect the resources.
Traversing dangerous ecological terrains to unveil the hidden treasures of nature.
Tourism is not just the sights and attractions. The experiences, the interaction with nature, the interaction with our culture.
I am on a mission to discover the beauties of nature in the wild.
We sell an experience, we don't sell just the attraction.
And it has potential.
Good afternoon. It's Friday. Still watching News and the discussions on the 2022 budget will continue. The Deputy Minister for Finance, Dr. John Kuma, has indicated that the only tax introduced by government in the 2022 budget is the e-levy. He said statistics indicate that 40% of mobile money users transact below 100 cedis, meaning that all those who fall in this category will be exempted from the 1.75% deduction.
Use the e-levy tax. In the past 1.5 years, government put a consultant and a team together to do a research to advise government on how we can introduce a digital tax. They spoke to about 10,000 Ghanaians and received feedback on how such a tax could be introduced so that we do not disrupt the growth of digital progression in our country. The report stated that about 40% of Momo users in Ghana were people who sent monies below 100 Ghana cedis a day. So per the research, we were able to identify that poor group. So in this e-levy that we have introduced, we have exempted all the 40% category. They are not part of this levy. So the first 100 cedis of every mobile transaction in a day is exempted from this, so that we cover all the 40 and even more, because beyond the 40%, above 100, the first 100 Ghana cedis is exempted, even if you are above the 40%. So everybody gets benefit from the first 100 cedis. It is only the sender who will be charged all transactions from your Momo account to your bank account. You don't pay anything. And if you transfer money from your bank account to your Momo account, you are not paying anything. It's not covered. It is when you transfer Momo from your account to another account, the traditional transfers that they do, the bank have charges on those transfers. The e-transaction will affect the bank transactions, the bank fees, not the customer's funds. Now, merchant payments using the POS and QR code, they are seen as digital transactions, so they will be covered. We have heard suggestions from people that at a point of a certain amount, we should cap it. That proposal has been received, but decision is not taken yet. When we take that decision, we will announce it to you, so that collectively we can build a system that is acceptable to all of us.
And away from the budget, a dialogue on healthcare financing towards the attainment of universal coverage has been held in Accra between the National Health Authority and its partners, Farm Access. It was disclosed that the authority is considering the inclusion of preventive health insurance onto the scheme to offset the huge burden on its expenditure.
The National Health Insurance Scheme is a typical healthcare financing model. The National Health Insurance Levy and SNIT contributions constitutes about 90% of NHIS inflows, with premiums and registration making up 10%. These inflows cater for expenditure such as claim payment, administrative cost, and a mandatory 10% allocation to the Ministry of Health. Although the scheme has been increasing tariffs at 20% per annum, it has had to digitalize the services of high-volume providers such as tertiary healthcare facilities as a cost control measure of the scheme. The high-volume providers contribute to 30% of claims. Was recently reviewed to include childhood cancers and family planning services based on the scheme's actuarial projection.
We've been in surplus for 4 years and it keeps rising. We are in good standing. Our GDP is going up. But additions and changes in our benefit package has an implication, and we must do it step by step in an evidence-based way. This is from WHO, their assessment of our out-of-pocket expenditure. We have dropped from 60% to 37%. We still need to get below 20%.
The country director for Farm Access and team lead for the NHIS data analytic team, Dr. Maxwell Entry, said maternity care and non-communicable diseases, digestive tract, malaria and respiratory infections are the main drivers of NHIA expenditure. Antibiotics prescription also contributes to the highest medicine cost. However, the removal of value-added taxes on essential medicines, he added, has led to a 30% reduction in the cost of medicines. The team recommended 100% digitalization of claims management, healthcare gatekeeping, health promotion, disease prevention, among others. The board chair, Dr. Enespuni Kwaku, assured the public that miscreant providers will be fished out and dealt with. He said the benefits package will be reviewed based on actuarial projections in order not to overburden and collapse the scheme. To curtail the cost of curative care, the NHIA is considering the inclusion of preventive health care insurance where wellness clinics will be covered by the scheme. The screening for the various diseases, it noted, can lead to early detection and treatment. Cyril Furi, GBC News, Accra.
We go to the Interbank Forex market and bring you updates on how the city is performing. We also update you on latest prices of major commodities on the international market.